Hello and welcome back to ChäoS Head Noah. My name is Baby Dennis, and last time we got back home after that really one murderous encounter, and Takumi ended up settling down, and after playing some games for a while, we were met with his sister who knocked on his door and tried to, get him to, clean up, maybe get him a cell phone because the parents are telling him to get one so they can actually contact him. And after being kind of a bitch, he tells his sister to screw off and just, leaves her. Makes her leave his room, and he's like, yes, I got rid of her. And after that, Takumi went to school and found a girl, a bispectacle blonde girl who was following him on his way to school. And after getting to school, going to the arcade, not arcade, but PC cafe, and finding her still following him, he eventually panics and runs away, and then gets into some trouble. And by trouble, I don't mean actual trouble, but he just kind of trips. And then she takes him home. It gets really awkward and really confusing, but she seems to have, also be an otaku, asked him to help him order a figurine, and now he thinks he's, an absolute Giga Chad. But now we're back at school. Takumi is delusional as always. He's very, he's like, oh man, how should I reject her? I already know I have one true love, and it's really weird. I already said this, but I'm not a huge fan of the main character. I have heard that he's gotten better, but I'm just gonna continue playing the game. All right.
Great! There!
The math teacher. What was her name again? Well, it didn't matter. Left the room, and the school day came to an end. The other students were all talking where to go after school, or heading off to their clubs or teams. Most of them immediately got ready to go home. Normally, as soon as the last chime rung, I would put my things together and go home. But today, I stayed in my seat, trying my best not to look at any of the other students. Today, I was meeting Yua. Normally, a date with a girl would be a WKTK situation. I don't know that, actually. What's a WKTK? Mid-2000s for hopeful and exciting. Okay. But for me, for today, it was just depressing. My nerves were all jittery, my stomach hurt. I'd never agreed to go anywhere with a girl. I didn't know what to do. Would she even come? Maybe the whole thing yesterday was just a prank, and she was watching me from the shadows and laughing, I thought. In a way, it might be better than if she actually did come. Wait, did I even need to wait for her at all? Couldn't I just ditch her and go home? Yeah, that was a way. She was in a different grade than me anyways. If I ditch her here, we'd never meet again. I made my decision and stood up. And then she's gonna show up right now. Oh.
何してんだ?
Someone slapped me on the back, hard. I didn't need to turn around to see who it was. He was the only person in the class weird enough to talk to me was Misumi.
お前帰らないのか? いつもならチャイムが鳴ると同時に消えるのによ。俺密かに匠の音速直帰って名付けてたんだぜ。
The Sonic Boom Dash. This is Sonic Boom.
もう帰るよ。
誰か待ってるとか。
Oh, he's sharp. He knows.
え?
How did you know?
なんだよ、図星かよ。
どうして？
なんだかやけにそわそわしてたからな。教室の入り口をさっきから何度も気にしてるし。
He was perceptive. But I need to be careful with what I said. Don't forget, Takumi. Your goal is to stand out at school as little as possible. You have to be like the air itself.
別に誰も待ってないよ。
そうか？だったら今の間はなんだよ。
それは。
Crap. Misumi wasn't a bad guy, but he could be really annoying at times like this. Read the room, jerk. Alright, read the room, take a hint, blah blah. Alright, gotcha.
西条くん
Your whole body froze. I turned towards the voice, feeling austere terror. Yua was standing timidly at the door. Oh no. Thanks to Misumi, I lost my chance to run away.
おい、なんだりゃ。どういうことだ?
It might have been the first time I'd seen Misumi freak out like that. He wrapped his arm around my shoulder, pulled me in close, and looked me in the eye.
おい、タク、どういうことか説明しろよ。お前の彼女か。
違うよ。
I told him 1,000 times I didn't have any interest in 3D girls.
だったら何なんだよ。 言っとくが、タクの姉ちゃんとかそういうオチは期待してねえからな。
No, 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 no. You have a different
引きこもり
sister.
のくせに何をどうやったらあんないい女と知り合えるんだ。
昨日急に付きまとわれて。
そりゃつまりあれか、逆難されたってことか。この
You lucky dog. He grabbed me by the jaw and shook me for a second before finally letting me go.
そうか、世の中には物好きってのもいるんだな。けどタクがまともな性癖を持ってたみたいで少し安心したぜ。
性癖って。
What a weird way to be a friend. I'm glad you have some kind of fetish. Okay.
それに彼女とは別に何も。
そうかそうか、頑張れよタク。
Good luck. Misumi wasn't listening to me. He was all excited now, and I was slapping my back harder than before. Ugh. He was definitely teasing me.
安心しろって、お前の女を寝取ったりしねえから。
だからそういう関係じゃ。
ほらさっさと行けよ。彼女お待ちかねみたいだぜ。
He pushed me in her direction, and I began to slowly walk forward. I guess I didn't get to run away after all.
迎えに来たの迷惑でした？
いや、
It sure as hell was. I looked back at Misumi, and he was grinning and giving me the finger. I couldn't tell if he was cheering me on or trying to start a fight. There was no point in trying to deal with him anymore, so I just decided to leave the school. I'll transition. Anime store? No, just outside of
すいま
school.
せん。昨日会ったばかりなのにこんなお願いをしてしまって。
Oh, okay, so the background is slightly different this time. I think it's the same people, but it's just different shading for like after school.
いや。
I was really nervous. Me? Leaving school with a girl? Like a Ryaju? Like a popular kid. I thought this was a world I'd never have anything to do with. Never thought it would happen to me. But right now, there just seemed to be an intense aura radiating from her. We were just walking side by side. Why did I feel so nervous? I still didn't know who she was or what she wanted. What would she want with a creepy otaku like me?
おとといの。
いや。
She started talking out of nowhere, so I got surprised and said something weird sounding. She seemed to be nervous too. Her expression was tense. She was older than me, but actually quite innocent. It was pretty moe. Not that I could do much more than glance at her every so often. I was too embarrassed to look at her in the eye.
おとといのブラチュー見ましたよね。
I did kinda, but I also saw some dead bodies that ended up being real. So, make what you will.
うん。
私一箇所だけいまいちよくわからないところがあったんですけど、すすむくんがセイラちゃんのピンチに駆けつけてきて助けてくれますよね。でもどうしてすすむくんはセイラちゃんが危ないって分かったのかなって。
あれは先週の回に伏線があったんだ。セイラの携帯が鳴ってるシーンが一瞬だけ挿入されてて、着信表示で進むの名前が出てる。
Oh, of course, with genius storytelling. The foreshadowing.
そういえばそんなシーンありましたね。
山田がそういう細かい伏線をあちこちに貼るのが好きなんだ。キンゴルでも似たようなことをやってた。
山拓？キンゴル？
Different anime?
いや、山拓っていうのはブラチューの監督の愛称だよ。で、山拓がブラチューの前に監督やってたアニメがキンゴル。
Ah, okay.
へえ。じゃあ山拓さんって有名な監督さんなんですね。
まあ僕は好きな方かな。なんでかっていうと。
Oh, that was a weird cutoff. I know that they were trying to make it. Oh, and he kept talking, but like it was really weird. I started lecturing her on an anime, and the next thing I knew, we were at Animate. We got in here much faster than I expected. I got really excited and talked too much again. Yua was a great listener. Whenever I showed off some random piece of knowledge, she'd act really interested. I knew that this whole thing was a trap, but I kept talking anyways. I'm so bad at speaking, and this had never happened before. It felt like chatting online. It was kind of weird.
なんだかドキドキしてきました。先に帰ったりしないでくださいね。
Damn it, she figured me out. Ah.
うん。
She went up to the clerk with an expression of intense nervousness on her face and ordered the Sarah post-awakening version figure. All I did was stand back and watch. I kept looking for a chance to run away, but she kept shooting nervous glances at me, and I couldn't move. Afterwards, at her request, I showed her around the store. She was happy to find all kinds of things that she might want to buy, but I didn't have the energy left to smile back at her. Yua came to school by train, so I was forced to go with her to the Shinsen station. She might look like an airhead, but she wasn't. Whenever she wanted something, she knew just how to make me give it to her. Black. She was a black character. Okay, what does that mean? I hope it's okay. 2000 era net slang for a person with a black-hearted personality, specifically someone who is friendly on kind of the surface, but in their heart harbors malice towards others. Certain people, mostly otaku, find this gap between surface personality and inner thoughts to be very moe. Alright. Okay, that's what they meant. Okay.
西条くんって携帯は持ってないんですか？
Nope, don't plan to. She suddenly asked me that just as we got to the station. A phone, huh? I shook my head, slightly sad.
持ってないんですか。それじゃ連絡が取れないですね。
連絡
Contact me for what? Are you gonna keep bugging me instead of leaving me alone?
でも西条くんパソコン持ってましたよね。私も持ってるから
Email.
メールアドレスを交換しませんか？
Oh, okay, yeah, actually.
どうして？
そのフィギュアの発売日に取りに行かなくちゃいけませんよね。その時にまた一緒に。まだ一人でアニメ8に行く勇気はないから。
Oh, she said anime. Okay. Oh, clever. Clever
そ
girl.
れに
Oh, she was a clever one.
私西条くんと
Uh-oh. I knew it, but I couldn't say no. If I did, I'd be the bad guy here.
もっと
3D girls are truly terrifying.
仲良くなりたいから。
Oh, no. Oh, that was the final nail in the coffin. Was it just that I wasn't used to talking to people, or was she just a master persuader? It felt like she wasn't going to go home until I gave her my email address, and yet she seemed nervous as she looked up at me from behind her glasses. For some reason, I felt my will to resist draining away. My skin felt clammy, and a cold chill was running down my spine, but I couldn't run away or say no. There was something strange about Yua, something that wasn't normal. I couldn't explain what, exactly, wasn't normal about her, but she definitely wasn't normal. The next thing I knew, I'd written my email address. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, this is clearly all a trap. No. Or some kind. I'm pretty sure this is too suspicious. Things don't fall from the sky as easily as this. I'd written my email address on a scrap of notebook paper and handed it to her. She looked happy as she took it, then bowed and disappeared into the station. I stood there for a solid 10 minutes with a blank look on my face, like my soul had drained out of my body. Alright, back to the hideout, the lair. Yes. We're gonna see this place a lot, I bet. Nightheart, okay. Gonna type something. What would you think about a girl like that? I don't know what to do. I mean, it feels like she's up to something. She has to be. I mean, I'm just saying, Mr. Nightheart, I can see your chat history. The first thing you write is, what do you think about that girl? Or what do you think about a girl like that without actually giving context? I can see the history right in front of me. Hey, are you listening, Grim? Hey, what's the name of this H game? That night, I asked Grim about Yua. I I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere on my own. But that was the answer I got. To be fair, this is the same reaction I had the first time I talked to her. I was an idiot to ask you in the first place. Wait, lol, you serious? Man, you're such a lucky bastard. I didn't know you had it in you. I thought you said you weren't even into 3D girls. It's not like that. Grim was reacting just like Misumi. Maybe the two of them were actually the same person. Well, guys like you, Nightheart, who never dated a girl in your life, often quit being a otaku the minute you get a girlfriend. Girlfriend's not gonna like those 10-minute monologues about school swimsuits. I mean, really. I mean, he's not wrong. What's wrong with monologues about school swimsuits? Oh god. This guy's a goner. Somebody needs to do something about him. You got mail, dork. Huh? I just heard Saratan's voice. I'd set that voice to play whenever I got an email. I looked over at my inbox and the sender's name was Yua Kusunoki.
うわ、早速来た。
Well, let's see what it says. I got an email. Just now. Hooray! Ha! 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 Wait, I can see it spinning around. That's a pretty cool one. An email from a 3D girl. I'd never gotten one before. I gulped and opened it. Let's see. Hello. I'm gonna close this. Subject. Hello. From you to... Hello, this is U.S. Kusunoki. Sorry for sending you an email out of the blue like this. It would make me very happy if you saved my email address in your contact list. Sorry. Oh, that's also an emoji. For bringing you along with me today. But it made me very happy. Maybe because I've never been to a store like that before. Or, I think it was because I was with you, maybe. Lol. What time are you coming to school tomorrow? Oh, the reason I'm asking is, I want to say hello in the morning. Kinda. I'll be running to each other tomorrow, even if it's just by chance. Bye. I'll send you another email later. Good night. You can sense her elegance and femininity coming off the page, but the emojis also made her feel friendly and approachable. But it was because I was with you, Nishijo, and I want to say hello in the morning. It felt like she might be plotting something. Show me what it says. It's totally normal. Basically, just a hello. Shut up and upload it. Upload! Wait. Okay. It went black for a very long time. Okay, I guess I didn't want to type it all out. Okay, so he's actually just typing it all out. Or copy and pasting it. Alright, and that's the full email. Grima was being obnoxious, so I decided to type in the whole message for him. Of course, I didn't type it in our personal information. What is this? It feels like she's head over heels for you. Die in a fire, Nightheart. Help me out here, man. It's some kind of trap. Right. It's all a big conspiracy. You're overthinking things, aren't you? It sure looks like she's into you. You're almost at the good ending. I mean, this is impossible. I'm just a creepy otaku. Why would a cute girl from the real world want to date me? Lol, dude, you're just bragging now. Help me out here. Calm down, you must be overthinking things. She and you have a lot in common, right? There aren't many nice girls like that left. I knew that, but she was just too nice. It was creepy. I mean, the stalker stuff at the start was a little much, but that just goes to show how much she likes you, right? She's an anime fan, right? She's like the ideal GF. For an otaku, anyways. Get her to go along with all your weird-ass fantasies. That actually sounds pretty appealing. No. That was just what she wanted me to think. She came on to you. Be grateful. I'm not into 3D girls. Yeah, right. You want to date her really bad, right?
そうだけど。
This is your chance to stop being an otaku. You'll never get another chance like it. I'm sure of it. This is your chance. Stop being a wimp and go for it. Be like Nightheart, but in the real world. Go for it. If only I could, life would be so much easier. Talking to her today and the day before taught me that. It could be fun and make me happy, but it was also exhausting and a pain in the butt. If it was that hard, I'd be better off living a peaceful, relaxing life with 2D's girls. So I decided not to answer Yua's email. Next day. Whoa. So let's see what this is. We got some Agi guy and some. I mean, those look like. I have no idea what these look like, to be honest. I just see a whole bunch of stuff on fire. The fire was burning. Long tongues of flame danced within the incinerator. Inside it, a sailor uniform and several textbooks were being burnt to ash. So, why is a uniform being burnt? Did a child, did a high school student or a child die? Who are you? Oh, yeah, last episode we also saw a white-haired girl singing on a bridge who also knew the whose eyes are these eyes? Whose eyes are those eyes? I think that's what it was. And now we have a different girl, one with twin tails? Yeah. A house in the foothills, overlooking the Seto Inland Sea. In the distance, you could hear the whistles of the ships. A salt breeze gently shook the trees around the house. Despite her idyllic surroundings, the small girl in front of the incinerator, Kozue Orihara, was in a miserable state. Her eyes reflected the red light of the fire as she watched the sailor uniform and textbooks burn to ash in the incinerator. Until yesterday, that had been her uniform and that... Oh, wait, she burned her own stuff? And those have been her textbooks. She was the one who had put them in the incinerator, but she still might have felt some attachment to them because she kept them staring at them. Suddenly, she winced in pain and put her hands tightly over her ears. She opened her mouth, but that was all she could do, so let's see. Huh, okay. She couldn't moan or cry. All she could do was gasp for breath. She kept shaking her head as if begging for something to stop. Then she collapsed. Falling into the ground, she looked up, exhausted, at the sky. She stayed there, unmoving, for several minutes. And then, suddenly, she turned around. She was staring at the house's veranda. The house was made of wood and over 50 years old. Even though it was still daytime, much of the veranda was shrouded in deep shadow, leaving it in the darkness. Ooh, that seems like a house that could be lit on fire real quick. She slowly staggered up and walked towards it. Just then, her mother appeared, as if she'd been waiting.
あら、小杖ちゃん。探してたのよ。もう荷物の整理はできたの？
Ah, she's moving. Okay. Kozue nodded and sat on the veranda.
あさってにはもう、この家ともお別れなのね。
Her mother stood behind her and looked at the peaceful Seto Sea.
東京なんて行くの、小杖ちゃんは初めてよね。
We're going to Tokyo.
いいお友達ができるといいわね。
Hope you don't make any delusional friends. How does she know? How does she know? Kozue didn't reply to her mother's kind words. She didn't shake her head or nod. She just stared sadly at the incinerator in the corner of the yard and the flames that still rose from it. Okay, back at school. Actually, you know what? I'm not 100% sure, but I think these characters look like 3D models. Just like, you know, a still frame of them. The one that kind of, like, indicates that to me is, like, the shading. And I think, like, the guy in the front middle. Well, it's not like it matters. It was a week after, on a school day. As usual, I headed to the school in my gloomy mood, staring down at my feet as I went. Fall was clearly at hand. The trees in Shoto Park were changing colors, and I was starting to feel cold in my short-sleeved shirt. Since I spent almost all my time in my room, it always felt strange when the seasons changed like this. It still feels like summer to me. I spent a whole weekend playing ESO. Grim kept asking me about Yua, but I just ignored him. Yua hadn't sent me any more messages. Maybe she'd given up when I hadn't replied. I certainly hope so. Whenever I talked to her, I always felt myself wavering. I started to feel hope. But there was no point in a creepy otaku like me having hope. I lived my whole life without ever having hope fulfilled. That's why I lost interest in 3D girls. Please, don't make me hope. Please, don't have any hope for me. Suddenly, someone patted me on the shoulder from behind. I turned around, expecting to see Nanami or Misumi, but was surprised. Ah, it's her. Her cheeks were a little flushed, and she was smiling at me. For some reason, she was out of breath.
後ろ姿が見えたから もしかしたら西条くんかなって思って走って追いかけちゃいました。
Hadn't she given up? Does she still have hope for me?
おはようございます、西条くん。
Yeah.
やっと言えました。土日を含めて4日もかかってしまいましたけど。先週メールを送ったんですけど、読んでもらってます？
Left on red. Haha. By the time I realized I nodded, it was too late.
よかった。返事がなかったからてっきり届いていないかと思って何度か送り直そうとしたんですけど、我慢しておいて正解でした。
What did she want me to do? Was I supposed to fall in love with her? Be her boyfriend? And then think we were supposed to be a happy, loving couple? Impossible. That kind of thing was for other people, not me. I wanted to do it, but there was no way I could. I still didn't understand why Yua liked me anyways. I couldn't trust her. So, it was just... impossible.
西条くん、どうしたんですか？ずっと立ち止まってるので。
I started walking fast to leave her behind, but she just jogged to catch up with me.
昨日、西条くんのクラスに行ったんですけど、いませんでしたよね。もしかして風邪でもひいて休んでるんじゃないかと思って心配だったんです。
I've gotten sick. I'm just sick of school and people, you know.
でも元気そうでよかった。
たまにしか。
はい？
僕、たまにしか学校来ない。みんなから引きこもりって思われてる。
You're disgusted, aren't you? You learned who I really am, and you don't like me anymore, right? That's fine. I never expected anything in the first place. Go ahead, think I'm creepy, and then just leave me alone.
そうですか。でも今日は会えてよかったです。
I didn't know how to react to that. I found myself staring into her smile. Our eyes met, and then I quickly lowered my gaze. Why wasn't she treating me like she thought I was creepy?
っていうか、たまにでも学校に来てるなら、西条くんは引きこもりじゃないと思います。すいません。分かったようなこと言っちゃって。
でも、苦痛だよ。
だとしたら、偉いです。
That wasn't something I ever expected to hear. What's impressive about a loser like me? Yua smiled gently at me. It was a smile that could have healed a wounded heart. That's just how it felt to me.
だって、西条くんは辛いのに頑張って学校に来ていますから。普通なら、普通は来られないですよ。
でも、僕はオタだし、キモいし。
私、西条くんの話を聞くの好きですよ。
What? Why was she telling me all this? Why did it feel so good? I felt like she was holding me in a warm embrace. Or like she was telling me that it was okay for me to be here. Maybe with her help, I could go back to being a normal person. She's doing the
予例ですよ。
She's doing the I can fix him. Suddenly, I realized that there were barely any students left around us. They'd all gone inside the school building.
西条くん、それじゃあ私、失礼します。今日の放課後、時間ありますか？もし、よかったら、一緒に帰りましょう。
She spoke softly, her cheeks turning a little red.
放課後、中庭で待ってます。もし気が向いたら、来てください。無理に来なくても全然平気ですから。失礼します。
Bye! She bowed politely and then headed off to the third year wing. As I watched her go, I pinched my cheek. Just as I thought, this wasn't a dream or a delusion. Back to the school building. I spent the whole day's worth of class in a daze. I don't think I heard a single thing that the teacher said. I just rested my chin on my hand and stared out the autumn sky. Neither my classmates nor the teachers paid the slightest bit of attention to me. But Misumi is gonna hit me in the back and be like, "Hey bro, what's up?" But Yua paid attention to me. She wasn't like the rest of those assholes. I sat there the whole day, thinking about her and indulging in one delusion after another. And before I knew it, school was over.
よ、タク。
Ah, hey.
今日もデートか？
Yeah.
この前のメガネのことはうまくいってるんだろうな。おいおい、ニートだからって躊躇してんなよ。向こうがお前のこと気に入ってくれてんなら、付き合うか付き合わないかはともかく、やっちまうのが礼儀。
It's just polite to have set.
そんなことしないよ。
おい、なんだよいきなり大声出して。
ユアとはそんなことしない。
は？お前まだ言ってんの？なんで最初から諦めるんだよ。そろそろ引きこもりから卒業しようぜ。
僕は引きこもりじゃない。
That's not what it meant, but okay, anyways. Misumi only cared about sleeping with girls. He wouldn't understand. I ran past the confused-looking Misumi and quickly left the classroom. The fastest way to get to the courtyard from the second-year classrooms was to go across the connecting corridor to the third-year students' building, then head down the stairs. At least, as far as I knew. I didn't come to school that often, so I didn't know what led where. I didn't even know where some places, like most of the special classrooms, were. So I was a little nervous when I went to the connecting corridor. There was a girl standing in the middle of the corridor, staring up at the sky. She had a very stern expression on her face. She didn't seem lost in thought or anything like that. Okay, so that's one of the characters in the cover, I believe. Along with the pig-haired girl and the white-haired girl. She was clearly in a place that would block traffic, but she wasn't moving at all. Come on. I know you hear my footsteps getting closer. Get out of the way! I'm in a hurry. For some reason, she felt like a DQN. I needed to make sure not to get any closer or let her notice me. Just as I tried to walk past this girl, who I decided to call Girl B.
Oi.
Hey. Huh. Crap, she talked to me. Was she going to mug me? Or was she going to say that she didn't like my face and then take me to her group of DQN friends so that they could beat me up? Please no. What did I ever do to you? I glanced over at her to find that she was glaring at me.
お前、誰だ?
I wasn't sure how to answer that. I was Takumi Nishijo, of course, obviously, but I never met this girl, so there was no way she would know that. She must be planning to do something really terrible to me.
すいません。
I bowed quickly, being careful not to look at her, and then ran away at top speed. Like a normal person, but not really. I ran down the staircase in the third-year wing, out the doors, and then glanced behind me. The scary girl didn't seem to have followed me. Whew! The 3D world was an awful place. There were traps everywhere. I took a few breaths and looked around the courtyard. The courtyard was between the pool and the school building, and was really more of a corridor than a yard. There were flower beds placed at regular intervals where the purple flowers bloomed. What were those flowers called again? I didn't know. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it's a pretty cool place. I saw Yua standing in front of one of the flower beds, staring down while she waited. She was really here. She was really waiting for me. Not for anybody else. Just for me. Yua wasn't gonna betray me. Maybe I could believe in her after all. Maybe she could save me. Yua looked up and noticed me. And then her eyes went wide in surprise. I stood there, looking away in embarrassment. I didn't know if it was okay to walk up to her or not. But why was she surprised? Did I mess up by coming? As I tried to figure out what to do, she ran up to me.
びっくりしました。
え？
西条くんが本当に来てくれるなんて。どうせ来てもらえないって諦めかけてたんです。でも、待っててよかった。
I was surprised. She might have had the same kind of mentality that I did, the kind that was pessimistic about everything. But there was one big difference between Yua and me. I was pessimistic and didn't do anything. Yua was pessimistic but took action. That was something I really respected about her. I want to be that way too, I thought.
一緒に、 帰ってくれますか?
I nod in response to her question. She and I headed off for the school gate together. I felt kind of embarrassed. As we walked home, it felt like the other students were shooting me jealous glances. The more I started to notice people staring, the more I started to freeze up. I should have known that there was no way I could walk home with a girl. Oh, that character looks, like, significant in some way. I passed by a teacher I didn't recognize. Oh, that was a teacher. Okay, it made sense that the uniform was different. Actually, the only reason I thought they were a teacher was because they were wearing a suit. Oh, there we go. But, do we have any teachers that young? I rarely came to school, so of course, I didn't know who our teachers were or what they looked like. Sometimes I even forgot my homeroom teacher's face. Maybe that was a student from another school, I don't know. The teacher in the suit looked around, seemingly lost, before heading towards the school building.
どうしました?
I quickly shook my head and started walking alongside her again. We talk in head shakes and nods. The base was 10 minutes away from school, which was a bit further than the train station at Shinsen you would use to go home. So, I guess I was walking her home instead of the other way around. Out of sheer habit, I walked us through Shoto Park. Cutting through it diagonally shaved a minute off or so off the commute.
日常くんって朝よくこの公園でパンを食べてませんか?
Oh god, she's a stalker. She's been stalking me since day one. She wouldn't know that because we didn't go into this park when she first stalked us. I mean, Taku, yeah. How did she know?
やっぱりよく見かけたんです。でもいる時といない時があって、今日ようやくその謎が解けました。学校にたまにしか来ないからだったんですね。あ、別にそれがダメって言ってるわけじゃなくてですね。素朴な疑問だったので。
Yeah. Yua suddenly stopped and looked over at the bench where I ate breakfast. Right now, it was empty.
なんだか、ここに座っているあなたの背中は、すごく、辛そうに見えて。
She suddenly leaned forward, just a little, and ran her fingers across the back of the bench.
何度も見かけるうちに、だんだん気になってきて。
The bench was right in front of the fence surrounding the lake. Since I always sat facing the lake, I didn't need to worry about anyone gazing at me. There was also a small water mill right next to it, which was another reason I liked it. It served to partially hide me.
ここ最近は、姿を見かけなかった日は、心配でご飯も喉を通らなかったりしてたんです。
Oh man. She's so sus! Really? I hadn't noticed her watching me at all.
バカみたいですよね。一度も話したこともない人の心配してるなんて。でも、
Yeah.
話しかける勇気もなかったので。
So that's why she was acting like a stalker at first. She wasn't a stalker. She was just really worried about me. Maybe. As a stalker.
ちょっと、座ってみてもいいですか? 日常くんがどんな景色を見ていたのか、私も、知りたいから。
I didn't really have a reason to say no. I nodded, still looking out at the lake. She put her bag on the bench and then quietly sat down. Then she sat upright, with a good posture, looking at the lake. It was so quiet, so peaceful, and she was right there with me. The soft wind made ripples on the water and gently rustled through her hair. Was this what it was like to have a normal life? It was just a normal day, a normal situation, so why did it feel like I was about to cry?
ここで朝食をとるのって気持ちよさそうですよね。
I watched her from the side as she quietly spoke. If we were in an H game, this would totally be when I asked her to be my girlfriend. She'd say yes, we'd kiss, and that'd be the good ending. Depending on the route, maybe we'd even engage in some naughty outdoor fun.
私も今度やってみようかな。
She tilted her head to look up at me. Unable to speak, I turned my gaze towards her bag. I stared at the 3 Garo froggies straps on it. I cursed myself for being too lame to talk to a girl. Delusion time? Yeah, I'm assuming this is delusion stuff. Wait a second. Did I just see something? What was I looking at? Garrow Froggy, a character popular with the high school girls? I'd seen it somewhere before, but where? Okay, yeah, goodbye. I didn't understand. I had this sense of deja vu, but I couldn't remember. You know, my previous theory was that like there are some time shenanigans involved, and like maybe like because this is also written by the same people who wrote Steins Gate, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe like this is not the first go that people have at this world, and maybe this girl. It's possible that maybe in the future she met with Taku, and maybe got along with him, and then that's why she went back in time after he died or something, and maybe that's why she wants to form a relationship with him now. I don't know. I feel like that, you know, makes sense in a fantasy setting that has, you know, time travel within its universe. Maybe. I'm not so sure. Was my memory always this bad? I was pretty good at memorization. I always got good grades on my tests. I was pretty smart. So why? Why couldn't I remember something so important? At least it felt important. Where had I seen them? If I looked at them closely, or closer, maybe I could remember. I wasn't sure what would happen if I did remember, but to escape from the awful feeling of not knowing, I almost unconsciously reached my hand out towards the 3 straps. No! You suddenly knocked my hand away. Huh? 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 As I stared in shock, she looked away from me and awkwardly tried to stand up from the bench. Her hand brushed against her bag, the bag with the 3 Garrow Froggy straps. And as if I was watching in slow motion, the bag fell slowly from the bench and landed on the ground. Uh-oh. Do we see anything? I mean, it looks like a notebook, but like there are a lot of newspaper articles there. It's probably about the new gen killings. It hadn't been zipped up, so her notebooks and textbooks went spilling everywhere. Just a few minutes ago, I would have thought that the whole scene was very moe, but now all I could do is stare in shock because, by chance, one of the notebooks that fell to the ground had fallen open, and small memos and newspaper clippings in it had scattered everywhere. It must have been some kind of scrapbook, because all the clippings and memos had to do with one subject. I could see it clearly. New gen. My voice was hoarse. She was hurriedly trying to pick up the clippings and notes and stuff them back into her bag. She stood up, holding it tightly to her chest. Her smile was gone, replaced with an awkward expression.
それは
She didn't answer me. Why won't you answer me? Come on. Say something. If you don't answer, I'll think you're hiding something. And just when I was about to believe you, just when I thought that you were going to be on my side, just when I started to believe that. Oh no, crazy delusions. The delusions are back. Sarah was right all along. All 3D girls were garbage. Even Yua didn't like me. She was just trying to get close to me for some reason of her own. Maybe she was going to turn me over to the police. Maybe she was going to threaten me. This was awful. Just awful. Just when I was so close to forgetting all about that murder. The cops had never come to say anything. I convinced myself that I'd never have to deal with it again. I didn't want to get involved. What was Yua after? I turned around so I could run. But then, is there going to be another person? Or is she going to grab my hand? Oh, okay. Yua grabbed my wrist from behind. Her voice made me shudder. It was so cold, I thought I might freeze. She didn't seem anything like the girl I'd been talking to a moment ago. And... she was gripping my wrist with incredible strength. She was holding it so tightly that it was physically painful. I thought for a moment that she might crush my bones. It hurt so bad. I tried to shake her off, but she wouldn't let go. Instead, she pulled me closer and almost fell backwards. You running? You running? Huh? You little bitch? She whispered in an emotionless voice right behind me and right into my ear. I shivered and slowly turned around. Are we gonna pan up? Oh, she is quite different now. You ran away? You're running away from the truth? Okay. This got a lot more interesting all of a sudden. I'm suddenly more engaged in this story. Okay, so what could this mean? Maybe she thinks maybe Takumi is right. Maybe she thinks that he's involved with the murders. Because she's researching it, and maybe her personality was just all a lie. Cause yeah, it was clearly like kind of fake. The color in her eyes was insane.
逃がさないよ。
Oh, I won't let
騙
you
してたこ
go.
とは謝るけど、お互い様だし。あなただって隠してたことあるよね。
Hiding something? There was only one thing I could think of. Somehow, for some reason, she knew that I'd witnessed the crucified corpse and the killer. That's why she'd approached me. She was really a clever one. Everything she said to me was a lie. That she'd gotten curious about me when she saw me for the first time. She liked Bloodtoon. That she wanted to buy Sarah a post-awakening version figure on the day it came out with me. When she smiled at something I'd said. When she said that she wanted to get to know me better. When she said that she was worried that I didn't come to school. Even when she said that I'd impressed her by coming to school. It was all lies. I clenched my fists in a rage and anger. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Why was I ever willing to believe her?
本当はもっと時間をかけて調べたかったんだけど、バレちゃったからしょうがないよね。あなたに聞いてもらいたい話があるの。聞いてくれるよね。聞かないなんて言わないよね。あなたは聞くべきよ。聞いて。聞くでしょ。
Oh my god, I get the point! You just said, yo, listen to me, right? No, past like 6 or 7 lines. Oh my god.
聞かないなら。
I'll kill you. If I won't listen, then what? She was like a totally different person now. That peaceful, easygoing manner that she had was completely gone. Now she looked cold and unapproachable, with a terrible intensity about her. Her words were cold as ice, as cold as death itself. The signs of weakness and helplessness she normally showed were nowhere to be found. I didn't want to hear those words. I tried to close my ears, but I couldn't. She still had my wrist in her grasp. She wasn't gripping it as tightly as before, but she still wouldn't let go. I couldn't move my hand. With her free hand, she reached into her bag and took something metallic and showed it to me. Oh, it's one of the stakes. Yup. Ah! I gasped in shock. My heart felt like it was about to leap out of my chest. My mind began to race. I had my free hand over my ear, but I let it drop. I heard her voice, sounding slightly disappointed.
この十字架に見覚えあるよね。
Of course I did. I knew exactly what it was. It looked like a cross, but it was actually a stake. Not many stakes had an elaborate design. At least, I'd seen some once before. Flashback. That night, scattered on the road. That night, pounded by the demon woman into the wall. That night, pinning the corpse to the wall.
やっぱり知ってるのね。知ってるんでしょ。知ってるに決まってる。
Stop repeating it!
知らないなんて言わせない。知ってなくちゃおかしい。知ってるよね。知ってるよね。
Okay, yeah. I shook my head desperately. An awful sweat was forming on my brow. All I could do was try to wipe it off as I shook my head no.
これあなたの部屋にあったのよ。あなたの部屋、ベッドの下、床に落ちてた。落ちてたの。落としたよね。
And it was lying there. Oh, god damn it!
それとも捨てた。とにかく落ちてた。落ちてたの。
When did she search my room? The day we first met? Oh, yeah, duh! When I hurt my leg and she walked me home? When she was staring with shining eyes at a cute face at the Sarah figure? She literally checked under your bed, and that's where she found your porn.
この杭、外国製のすごく珍しい杭なのよ。それと ニュージェネ第3の事件で使われた杭と同じ。同じなの。同じよね。同じなのは間違いない。同じよ。遺体を壁に貼り付けにした杭と同じ。
Okay, I'm gonna go past some of these. I'll sure of it. This girl thought I was behind the New Gen killings. She thought I was a murderer. Was she trying to be some kind of detective? Yua Kusunoki, teen detective? You know what I thought? Die, bitch. I meant it too. They weren't just empty words. I mean, this stuff might have worked in an anime or a video game. But I knew that her theory had a fatal flaw. I'd seen the killer. I'd seen her with my own eyes. That demon. The girl whose name I didn't know. She wore a Suimei uniform. She was close.
だから
She looked down and sighed softly. Her grip relaxed, and at last I was free.
それ以上でもそれ以下でもないです。ただ、あなたが知ってるかどうかを確かめたかっただけ。本当はまだ言うつもりじゃなかったですし。
What does she mean by yet?
それじゃあ、もう一つ確認させてください。あなたには予知能力がありますか？
Can you see the future? But what does seeing the future mean? Seeing the future means the ability to see into the future? Okay, but let's see what this actually says. This is distinct from the ability to predict the future, where one lays out what they think will happen based off of the information they have at hand. There's no scientific proof that it's possible to see the future. Different people manifest this ability in different ways. Some see the future in the form of flashbacks, and others see it in prophetic dreams. Psychics, fortune tellers, and ancient prophets are all said to have this ability. Many con artists, however, claim to have it for the purpose of fraud.
は？
What? My jaw dropped. Seeing the future? What the hell is she talking about? What did she have to do with the murder? I stood there confused as Yua reached into her bag and pulled out several full-color printouts.
予知能力があるって思わなきゃ
Oh, whoops.
納得できないような画像データをあなたが持っていたから。
Ah, those are the ones that the Shogun sent. The Guru photos that Shogun sent me. Why did Yua have them?
これ
あなたはどうしてニュージェネ第3の事件の再現画像を持っているんですか？しかもこの画像が流出したのは事件の前日です。あなたの使った PC にキャッシュが残ってました。
違う
I got these photos from some guy named Shogun that I'd never met before that day. I didn't make them. They should still be in my download history. I know. I could show that to Yua. Wait, where did she get these? How did she know they were still in my computer's cache? When she came to my room, she wasn't there long enough to search my computer. That's true. Oh.
将軍か
Was she trying to set me up? Was Yua behind the whole thing? Was she the one of the new gen killers, trying to use me as a scapegoat to distract the police from the truth?
助けて
This wasn't fair. Why me? Because I'm a creepy loser? Because I don't have any friends? Yua just shook her head silently.
その画像はアットカフェルーム37の PC から拾ったんです。あなたの PC もできれば調べたかったんですけど、その機会はさすがにありませんでした。
The room next to 37, the one I'd always use at cafe, she really did think she was some kind of detective. She looked just the slightest bit sorry as she stared at me. For just a single second, she looked like the old Yua. But she kept that expression on her face as she rustled through her next bag again. Her bag again, whoops. This time, she took out a sheet with printed text on it and offered it to me. I had an awful premonition. The logical part of my mind told me I shouldn't look. But I had to. If I didn't find some way to resist, they'd pin it on me.
それがあなたのすべてです。
Everything I was? Did she steal all my private information? Was she a hacker? My heart pounded as I looked at the printout, but instead of my private information, it was just a chat log. It was a log of Nightheart and Shogun.
そのログ変ですよね。
What's strange? It was just a normal chat log. I remember the conversation I had with Shogun.
ナイトハルトと将軍の
Let's see. Am I supposed to click on it? What was that link? I have no idea what that means. Shibuya, shake and shiver. A lot of weird stuff happened lately, huh? I'm from Shibuya. Oh, Shogun's not on the bottom side, actually. Like, not at all.
発言時間が全然噛み合ってないんです。
Huh. That's really weird. Maybe it's due to time zones. Yeah, I'm not sure. Huh? What was this? What was going on?
そこにあるナイトハルトは西条くん。発言時間は9月28日の午前3時台。そして翌日、あなたはアットカフェに行ってます。西条くんがアットカフェに行くのは学校帰りと決まってる。そして学校に行くのは週に 2.5 回。あなたのクラスメートから聞いたんですけど、先週あなたが学校に来た日は、月曜日、水曜日、木曜日。先週の月曜日は9月29日。将軍の発言時間と同じ日です。
What? What was she talking about?
ルーム37の PC のチャットログを調べさせてもらいました。そこから分かったことは。
She paused for just a moment before looking right at me and delivering a cruel truth.
あなた一人の自作自演。
Don't look at me.
将軍は
Don't look at me.
あなた自身。
Huh. We are Shogun.
何も見たくない。何も聞きたくない。時間は一定じゃない。記憶には矛盾がある。視界にはエラーがある。地球は回ってない。これはきっとゲームなんだ。
I turned on my computer and took a bite out of a fish sausage.
僕は、
Um,
僕じゃない。
not me. Do we? Is gonna be some split personality stuff? The Seraton wallpaper came up on the monitor.
僕がいるべき世界は、
I booted up ESO without the slightest hesitation.
ここじゃないんだ。
Okay, Chapter 2. Click me. Wow, I will say that was actually much more interesting. Oh. Okay, well, I'm glad that facade didn't last longer than like one episode. Because like it was clearly not right. It was clearly going to be like a fake out. But I'm glad they just peeled off the band-aid and got into the meeting stuff. Ooh, okay. You know what? It's I'm gonna play a little bit longer, maybe for like another 15 minutes or so. Beep beep. Anybody on the field trip? Get on. Everyone go on the field trip, okay? Takemi Nishijo laid on the tatami mat, a colored pencil in his hand. This time it was yellow. Just a few minutes ago, it had been red. He was happily scribbling his pencils across a hole of his open sketchbook. Takemi liked to draw. Even during class, he was always scribbling something in the corner of his notebook. A TV was turned on, showing the morning news. For a 4th grader like him, though, the news was boring. He didn't look at it at all. Beep beep! You can't bring more than 300 yen for snacks. He was drawing a yellow bus and pretending that he was the bus's driver. The bus is full. The bus is full, so off we go. Whoosh! He envisioned the scene in his head as he put it onto the page. It wasn't uncommon for him to get excited and let his pencil go off the sketchbook and then onto the tatami mat. Whenever that happened, his little sister Nami would yell, "Hey, don't mess up the mat!" She was a little brat and he didn't care. He kept drawing anyways. When it came time to draw the passengers on the bus, he suddenly stopped. And then he ripped the sketchbook up. Yesterday, the day before he was supposed to go on the class's fall field trip, He'd suddenly been told by his parents that he couldn't go. He'd been looking forward to it for a long time. He'd been excited the whole day. So when his parents told him, he refused to accept it. He cried and said he was going no matter what, but it didn't matter. No matter what he said, his parents wouldn't listen. "We're saying this for your sake. It's impossible for you." That's all they would say. So he hid under his covers and got mad. So mad he thought that he might tear his blankets apart. He hated his parents from the bottom of his heart. That's how important, how critical the field trip was to the little 4th grade Takumi. Everybody else got to go, and he didn't. From his perspective, it was totally unfair. In his mind, there were 2 worlds. A lonely world where he was the only resident, and a fun world where everyone else got to be. He hated his teacher and his classmates for going without him. He hated his parents for telling him that he couldn't go. It wasn't long before the hatred boiled over. He bit his lip so hard that it drew blood, and began to mutter a curse over and over. "I wish nobody got to go." The next morning, the phone started ringing really early. His mom would pick it up and answer it, seemingly shaken by something. She set it down, and a little later, it would ring again. Takumi couldn't sleep at all. It was past 9 a.m. Naomi was sitting on a cushion reading manga. She said, "I'll stay home from school with you," the day before, and so there she was. His dad has gone into work and was nowhere to be seen. His mom was so busy answering the phone that she hadn't made breakfast. Today, he didn't need to go to school. Glumly, he began to draw in his sketchbook. But it did nothing to help assuage his anger, and just when he'd rip it up in frustration,
あれこのバス
there was a note of worry in Nanami's voice. He thought she was talking about his picture, but her eyes were glued to the TV set.
ねえお母さん
Suddenly, she called out for their mom, who was still talking on the phone. Takumi looked disinterestedly over at the TV. It showed a collapsed bridge in a highway. Only a small 50-meter section of the bridge had collapsed. Did he make his delusion real or something, and that made it so that nobody got to go on the trip because the bridge collapsed? A bus had been traveling right over the bridge at the time and fallen through the hole. It was a bus that Takumi was supposed to have been on. It was the one that his classmates were all on. In a single instant, Takumi was able to envision almost everything that had happened. His classmates were all there. Some were crying. Some had faces covered in blood. One was being carried off in a stretcher. A reporter was explaining the accident with a stern expression on his face, but Takumi couldn't understand what he was talking about.
タクちゃん大変よ
His mom was standing in the room's doorway, holding the phone in her hand and looking deathly pale.
遠足のバスが高速道路で事故に遭っちゃったんだって
それ今テレビでやってる
それで斉藤先生が
Dead. For some reason, Takumi was sure of it. Because everything he had seen on the TV was just like the scene that he had envisioned last night in his frustration and anger. In his mind, there was only a single thought, a strange certainty that he had the ability to see the future. He remembered a TV program he'd seen years ago about psychic powers, whether psychic powers were real or not. There was a psychic on the show who could see the future and put their powers to incredible use during the tests the show had given. At the time, it was a huge deal. In the tests, 12 items were put into 12 boxes numbered 1 to 12, and they had to guess which one would be put in which. The psychic would be in another room before anything happened and make their guesses there. Afterwards, the show's staff would put the items into the boxes, and the results would be checked. Astonishingly, the psychic was 90% accurate, amazing the rest of the cast. Takumi had been watching the show, and he'd made his own predictions as well. Every single one was right, of course. He never told anyone this. But that's why now, he thought that he had foretold the crash unfolding on the screen.
クラスの半数以上の子が怪我したらしくてはあなんてこと
His mother tried to reach down and pick him up, but he slid past her and crawled into the corner of the room.
でも
She whispered in a hollowed voice, her gaze wandering around the room.
今日タクちゃんを休ませておいて本当によかった
Takumi felt like he was about to throw up. It was all rotten, he thought. What good was seeing the future? In that moment, he felt his heart turn cold. For a while, he didn't talk to anyone. He became completely silent. He didn't say a single word to a single person. His parents were already overprotective, but this only made it worse. He gradually started to find them ridiculous and began to keep up his silent act deliberately. That was his way of getting back at his parents, he thought. He was so quiet that they took him to a psychiatrist at a general hospital. He was diagnosed with PTSD. Of course, he didn't have PTSD, so he never took the medicine that they gave him. He just pretended to take it. His parents never picked up on the act, and even when he saw how worried and miserable they looked, he didn't feel the slightest bit guilty. Ah. Back to the Future? Alright, Back to the Future. This old room again. It all felt like a lie. The whole world was filled with fiction. It was filled with evil. Evil that was out to get me.
いつもあなたが使っているチャットルームへログインして自分で調べてみてください。私の言っていることが間違っていないってわかるはずです。それと、私が言ったことは全部本心です。これだけは信じて。
After her bizarre speech, she added that one last sentence and then left. Of course, I couldn't believe her. How could I believe her when she'd lied to me? The everything that I was that she showed me was something I refused to accept, no matter what. I want to believe that there was no way I could be Shogun. But from the timestamps on the chat log, it was clear that the conversation didn't make sense.
僕は無遊病なの
Sleepwalking, I mean, we know what that is, but also known as somnambulism or noctambulism, sufferers of this disorder will get up from bed while sleeping, especially during non-REM sleep, and engage in activities such as wandering around the house, eating, or bathing. They cannot, however, engage in any but the simplest of conversations. Each case is different, but generally the state lasts for around 30 minutes before the person goes back to bed and returns to sleep. The sufferer is completely unconscious at all points and has no memory of their actions. Sleepwalking is the most commonly seen in people with other mental issues, and is believed that stress is the cause. Okay. At the time that Shogun had sent the messages, I hadn't been asleep. I'd been at Cafe for sure, but I hadn't been asleep. I couldn't have been sleepwalking. Then why didn't I have any memories of writing these comments as Shogun? Was my body under someone else's control? The very idea was ridiculous. I decided what I needed to escape from all the lies with some good old ESO, my other fictional world. In ESO, everything was a lie. It was just a game after all. But in Base Lord, I could be Nightheart, a godlike being. If only the lies and fictions could be like this, I could accept that reality. I want to be here forever. What's wrong with that? Or maybe ESO Worlds was the real one, and this one was the fake one. This one was the game. Takumi Nishijo was just a fictional character, and my true identity was Nightheart.
ねえナイトハルト
I called out to the paladin on the screen. Am I controlling you, or are you controlling me? Are you the real person, and am I the avatar? What if the world I'm in is a game? If that's the case, it would explain everything. If someone was staring at me right now, just like how I was staring at Nightheart, whose eyes are those? The answer to that question would be the player controlling me. If that was the case, then I wish they'd stop sucking at the game so much, but an avatar doesn't get to complain. It's like, man, so Nishijo is controlling Nightheart, I'm controlling Nishijo, but who's controlling me? It explained how Shogun and I could be the same person. It was like with Lieselot. These Law and Nightheart couldn't exist in Baselord at the same time. They both had the same player, me. Maybe in the same way, Takumi Nishijo and Shogun couldn't both exist in this world at the same time. Or maybe it was like a bug. Speaking of bugs, maybe these strange women appearing in the murder case were all bugs too. Yeah. I kind of wish that we saw the other images now, because if that was the case, we would know what would happen in the future. The images Shogun sent me flashed through my mind, and I winced. I shook my head desperately. I wanted to run away from everything. If there's a player controlling me, then please reset the game. I'm gonna put a safe spot right here because that might be a sign. Alright, made. Just start over from the character creation. I didn't get the choice to make a character. I was stuck with you, Takumi. Oh, anime people. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna end it here for today. You know what? I don't like Takumi yet, but I can understand where he's coming from now. It's due to, like, that one experience he had as a child that kind of changed his perspective on, I guess, interacting with his family, interacting with people, and just his look towards the future in general, because apparently he said it seems like maybe he could see the future. I was thinking maybe more like he made his delusions real. Because I feel like delusions are a big part of this universe. But yeah, you know what? The story got more interesting right when the dating sim stuff, like, you know, stopped. I couldn't really get myself to like Yua because it was clear that it was all an act. I'm glad they dropped it real quick. But now that we have the mystery of, you know, going back to the New Gen murders, I'm actually kind of intrigued. You know what? First 2 episodes were kind of painful, but I'm kind of glad I stuck this long at the very least. I hope I'm not speaking too early, but like, the mystery thickens and I'm all for it. But we'll find out what happens next time, and until then, I will be seeing you. See ya!